This video today is about how we prepared lifestyle wise for the changes that we're about to have.
We both come from a background of teaching. We worked both at a private remedial school in Joburg, and Sonia was the grade 1 teacher, grade 0 and grade 1, and I did the PT, the technology, and for the grades 1 to 7.
Yes. And then when Katie was ready to start school, I decided to leave my private school job and to start a little preschool from home so that I could be with her. Arnold and I discussed that if we do have a preschool from home, we had to have it on a busy road. So we immediately started looking for a house that we could subdivide and that would be on a busy road. So we looked for somewhere that we could have a granny flat as well as the school and our house in one unit. The granny flat just in case that the school didn't work out. So we immediately converted the granny flat and we got tenants in there. We obviously moved into the house side and then we started working on the classroom. And yeah, I had the school there for about 2.5 years before we decided that we would get the bus and start a whole new journey.
Yeah, the story of how we bought the bus is in the previous video, and we'll do a video on what we actually did when we're building up the bus.
Yeah, but basically we started working on the bus and then lockdown happened, which actually worked to our advantage because we could spend all our energy in that. Immediately when lockdown happened, my parents from my school struggled to pay the fees, so I had to close the school, which actually also turned out in our favor because we could get tenants in both units, both where we stayed in our house and in the classroom, which was just a bit more of a stable income while we're on the road.
Yeah, as the lockdown eased up a bit last year, 2020, and the shops were opening up, we could go and get building supplies, and that's when we actually started then working on that second unit. We actually then moved into the classroom, and then while we were there, then we started just sectioning off the house side, because the classroom was always a separate unit in itself.
It's just that you could go through the passage into our house, from the classroom into the passage, yeah. But the granny flat was always separate. So as soon as the lockdown level changed to where we were allowed to move, we could get tenants to move into our house where we used to stay, yeah. And we moved into the classroom, a massive open room. It was so cold and it was winter, but yeah, we did that, and then we continued working on the bus until it was ready. It was actually quite dramatic because we were trying to finish the house where we used to stay. It wasn't finishing, it was just opening up the lounge door so that it had its own entrance and exit, and also building up the passage door so that the classroom and house side would be divided. Yeah, so we had that building site, we had the bus construction and the mechanics, still working on that. So it was a little bit difficult at that time for us because we had to divide the two units from each other. So we had to build up the passage door and also make their own front door by our house side. So that was basically a construction site as well as the classroom where we were staying, because we were also trying to build bedrooms in there. And then the bus was its own construction site, which was right in front of the classroom. And yeah, there was a lot of working happening the whole time.
About 2 days before the end of the month, we were rushing, moving everything into the bus, moving stuff into the garage, and we were begging the mechanic, Blake, if you could just please help us get the bus to my parents' place so that we were there and the tenants could move into the class side. And it was quite a bit of a rush and stress.
And the bus wasn't going to make it. We really didn't think it would. And I think we only got to your parents' house like at 9 or 10 o'clock that night.
He showed me worked in the freezing that day.
So hard. And we were all just cheering, and it was such a surreal feeling to
actually see the bus.
Yeah, and to be in the bus and have it move for the first time in 13 months.
Yeah.
And first time in over 18 years that the bus actually drove itself, because it got towed to us, and then yeah, I could drive to Ronald's parents' house.
Unfortunately, my parents were just down the road, so it wasn't a long trip, but he wasn't sure if everything was ready because he still had a lot of things still to do. Once we got to my parents' place, we just had a few little things that we still had to finish off with. Blake, also the mechanic, he had a few things that he had to still finish, and there was also the licensing and all that side of things that we had to do.
We basically stayed there for another 2 months, and then we were ready to go.
Yeah.
And when we were ready to go, we just wanted to get out of Gauteng before any lockdown went up to any level where we weren't allowed to leave.
We weren't sure if it was going to happen again.
Yeah, so at that point we weren't sure how far the bus would go, so we chose a close place, which was actually such a good blessing in disguise, because it's difficult to travel with the kids and the stress of the bus and the bus going so slowly as well. So we went to the northwest and we stayed at a beautiful place called Club Amigos. But yeah, the journey there, the driving there was also just such a funny story. Yeah. The prepping we had to do was obviously get rid of stuff. We sold a lot of things, we gave a lot of things away. I had a little thing with Katie because at that time I watched a series of Marie Kondo, and everything I said to her that she's allowed to bring in the bus, it needed to either be of value, so it needed to serve us a purpose, or it had to spark joy. And she's so good at it now. She'll just say, okay mommy, this doesn't spark joy anymore, let's give it to someone that can use it better. Yeah.
No, we managed to fit a few things, extra things into the bus as well. That,
like a Sputnik.
Yeah, that I wouldn't part with at that time. And then we had to store a few things in our little garage at the back.
Yeah, there isn't a lot. It's basically just like tax papers, file work like that. Everything else we got rid of.
Yeah. Furniture we sold.
Yeah, so all the furniture we either sold or we built into the bus, or we just gave away because we ran out of time. We didn't store anything except for some paperwork. I just felt that if we're not going to use it on this journey now, then it shouldn't be in our life. As part of the prepping for this lifestyle, I did a course in teaching English as a foreign language. It was so intense because the twins were so little. I still had my preschool. It was really hard work, but I got the course, I got my diploma, and we still haven't been able to use it because everywhere we've been, the internet connection has just not been strong enough. So yeah, we thought we were really well prepared for this lifestyle, and
you can never be prepared enough.
No, you can't. I think it's just because things change all the time, and both of us are actually people who really enjoy routine. We don't like when things are not planned ahead. I want to know what's happening tomorrow, in a month's time, my 5-year plan. But yeah, this is quite a bit out of our comfort zone.
Our family in general.
But it's a good thing because we are learning much more than what we would have learned anywhere, staying at home in our little cozy spots.
And it's an adventure.
Yes.
That we decided we wanted to do.
Yeah. Been strong enough. So yeah, we thought we were really well prepared for this lifestyle, and
you can never be prepared enough.
No, you can't. I think it's just because things change all the time, and both of us are actually people who really enjoy routine. We don't like when things are not planned ahead. I want to know what's happening tomorrow, in a month's time, my 5-year plan. But yeah, this is quite a bit out of our comfort zone, and well, mine, yours as well.
Yeah.
And it's
I think our family in general.
But it's a good thing because we are learning much more than what we would have learned anywhere, staying at home in our little cozy spots.
And it's an adventure.
Yes.
That we decided we wanted to do.
Yeah.
By a jumbo jet. It wasn't easy.